Tonight's Unified Bank Nailers profile is defenseman Dominic Cormier. And Dominic, it's been quite the season for you already, despite they're only a couple of months in. You started with Rapid City, then you get picked up by Wheeling. Next thing you know, you're in AHL training camp with Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Not exactly how you mapped it up, but are you having fun so far?
It's been an awesome ride. I can't say anything bad about any of the teams I've been on. And actually, I was supposed to start the season with Reading, but they canceled their season. So then I was lucky enough to find a team in Rapid City. And then after Rapid City, I was lucky enough to get to Wheeling. And then I got the good opportunity to go up to Wilkes for a week or so. And it's been an awesome ride so far.
What have you learned about yourself very quickly in this pro game when you go through some of those moments of adversity, like Reading not playing, or like when you ended up going from Rapid City to Wheeling, but then ultimately get some of the rewards, like going to the AHL?
I think you just got to stay with it. I mean, can't get too down on yourself. Obviously, there's been some ups and downs so far this year, but I think just sticking with it. I mean, teams are going to come. Like the opportunities will be there. Just matters how hard you work for it.
What was AHL training camp like this year? This was a very unique experience for all of us watching because we started first, unlike them, which is usually the scenario that it goes. But I bet there were some really good players up there and some guys who had been around. What was it like to kind of lean on them a little bit and also be part of the atmosphere?
I mean, it was definitely a change of scenery. Those guys, there was a lot of guys that had NHL games played. Those guys just had the experience. I got to play in one exhibition game against Lehigh Valley, and that game went pretty well. We didn't get the win, but I felt pretty good out there, felt pretty confident. And just every day in practice, there was always the excitement level of the guys was always at the top. Everyone was going as hard as they could, and it was a good experience for me. And being able to learn from those guys with NHL experience was big for me.
Playing in lots of different levels. You've gone through Major Junior, you've gone through Canadian University, ECHL, AHL. Have you seen your game change depending on where you are? Do you see yourself playing a different role in the different spots, or have you been able to kind of keep it similar throughout your career?
I would say I try to keep it similar, but I think the main thing that comes back is the defensive zone. In all those leagues, you need to be good in the defensive zone to get in the offensive zone at all times. So just working on my defensive game every day at practice, whether it's here, whether it's Wilkes, or wherever it is. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
One of the things that I noticed about you right away is that you're not afraid to shoot the puck. I remember your debut with us against Indy, right off the face-off, letting him go. Is that something that you take a lot of pride in, just trying to get as many shots through as you can?
I mean, I think yeah, I like to shoot. I like getting those forwards, the tips out front and stuff, and I think that can help us get some offense going.
What did you see out in the West this year? Because we're going to see the Utah Grizzlies here at Westbanco Arena this weekend. That's a team that we very rarely see, but Rapid City sees them a lot. Are there some comparisons to one of the teams maybe out east? I know you've only had a chance to really see Indy and Fort Wayne, but what's that style of play looking like right now?
When I was out there in Rapid City, I think the style of play is a lot more aggressive. Those guys are a lot bigger guys out there. I played against Utah quite a bit this year already, and those guys, they don't stop on the forecheck. They're coming hard. But I think if we put pucks behind their D, we'll be fine.
Is there any sort of comparison to Fort Wayne? Because I know that's one of the heavier teams that we've seen.
Yeah, I'd say they're a little similar. They got a little bit more punch on the forwards, but I think, like I said, I think we'll do just fine against them.
What do you see as being some of this team's strengths so far as you guys have started to put some wins together? You had a nice home weekend the last time you were in this building, and it seems like the team is getting very uplifted as well in the locker room.
Yeah, I think all the guys are really starting to gel together. I mean, we got a great group of guys. All of us like hanging out with each other. I think that's the most important thing. And then obviously on the ice, we're starting to get the chemistry going. The forwards are going. The Ds are all getting their D pairs together. And then we got two great goalies back there. So I think it's just a matter of time that we were going to break through, and I think it's at the perfect time.
Even though transactions are going to happen, right now, with the exception of Brassard, every single guy in that locker room is on an ECHL contract. What does that do for the dynamic? Does it make it kind of easier, the fact that everybody's pretty well on the same page, even though you know, as you've experienced, Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre are watching?
Yeah, I think all of us are just working to get to the next level. I mean, there's plenty of guys on this team that can get an AHL contract, and I think when we work together as a team, it'll only help us all. So I think obviously it's great to have the AHL contracts come down, but I think the group of guys we have is really starting to get together and going to string a couple wins together here.
You had a chance to play in juniors for a guy who was not exactly Mr. Popular for Wilkes-Barre Scranton. He's a good friend of mine, though, Louis Robitaille. What was it like to play for him, and how instrumental has he been to you in turning pro?
I think it was awesome playing for him. I played for Louis for a year and a half. Half my 19 year, they traded for me, and we had an awesome team. We were probably one of the top 4 teams in the queue that year. And then my 20 year, I was lucky enough to stick around with Victoriaville, and Louis was my coach again for my 20 year. And then he was just really helpful. I mean, I think throughout my 19 year, when I got traded to Victoriaville with Louis, I think that was where my game really stepped up. He had confidence in me right from the start when I first got there. So I think just made me be able to play more with more confidence and be able to play to my game.
What's it like being a New Brunswick guy who speaks primarily English and speaking in a French province like Quebec?
It was all right. I mean, when I was younger, I used to go to French school, so I could understand a bit. And then obviously when I was there, it was mostly French, so I had to learn pretty quick.
Everybody speaks hockey. We do here as well, and we're happy to have you, Dom. It's been great to watch the start of your pro career, and I hope things continue to go up for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Dominic Cormier of our Wheeling Nailers, our Unified Bank Nailers profile tonight. We'll take a break and come back with more on the Nailers Broadcast Network presented by Main Street Bank.